Hello. So I've come for a drive in my car to relax because I've had a bit of trouble with eBay. So this is a warning to eBay sellers about something that you might not know is the case when you sell things on eBay. So let me give you a little bit of background about what happened to me. I listed a mobile phone and I sold it to somebody for £90. They paid for it instantly and I shipped it off the next day to them by first class, recorded, so it got there within a couple of days. And then I didn't get any feedback and I heard nothing from the buyer at all. About 2 weeks later, I got a message from the buyer saying that the phone had stopped working and they wanted to send it back. They raised the case that the item wasn't as described, which isn't technically the right case to open. And although it's maybe not particularly relevant, but it still annoyed me all the same, I got an illiterate email with no punctuation, bad spelling, and just incomplete sentences, which kind of annoyed me because I knew there was nothing wrong with the item. It was a bit quirky to charge, like you had to, when you plugged it in to charge it, it might take a minute or two to register that it was charging, but it was fully working. And I suspected that it was still fully working with the buyer. I thought, well, the easiest thing to do is to cut my losses and just accept a return of the item. Give them a refund, keep it or resell it, whatever. Another 2 or 3 weeks passed and I didn't receive the item back through the post. So I think the buyer gets 31 days after requesting a return to send it back. So after like about 2 weeks, I sent them an email and said, look, are you sending this thing back or not? Well, I mean, not so rudely as that, but are you sending it back or does it work now? And I didn't get a reply. And then somewhat predictably, on like the 30th day, so a day before the return request would be cancelled and it would be closed in my favour, they sent me a message saying that they'd taken it to shops to be repaired, but it broke again and they definitely want to send it back. I don't want to crash here, so I've got to pay a bit of attention to the road. Okay, we're alright. Okay. Oh, wrong indication. Whoops. But unfortunately, this is where the trouble begins, and this is where my warning is. So I received the item through the post, but I didn't realise I'd received it until I opened it, which might sound odd. Basically, I shipped it in the original packaging, which is like a box that looks like an iPhone box. But what I received through the post was an envelope. So I opened the envelope, and inside was the phone without the original box, without the original instructions, earphones, SIM release tool, and without the charging adapter. So it was just the Phone i6 and a charging cable and the return slip. And the screen had smashed in transit, clearly because it wasn't packaged properly. You can't just send an iPhone in one layer of bubble wrap inside a paper envelope. So I emailed the buyer and said, look, it's arrived and it's broken. I'm sorry, but I'm not issuing you with a refund because you haven't packaged it correctly. Furthermore, I plugged it in and it still works. There's nothing wrong with the phone. Your whole reason for returning it was incorrect. But I thought, well, eBay will be on my side, so they'll sort this out or satisfactorily for the both of us, because that's what I kind of come to expect from eBay. As a buyer, at least. So I got a reply back from the buyer saying that it's broken in transit and it's nothing to do with them. I still have to give them a refund. The fact that they didn't include all those parts means that I should just knock £10 off the price I refunded. And this is the biggest mistake that I made, apart from selling it in the first place. I escalated the case and I sent a message back saying, look, I'm not going to put an arbitrary value on the price of the things that you haven't shipped with it. Let's let eBay sort this out. So when I woke up the following morning, having escalated this case, I'd sort of predicted this would happen, but I got an email from eBay saying that they've closed the case and they found in favour of the buyer. They've taken £90 out of my bank account and refunded the buyer their whole amount. But I can appeal because I've said that the item that they've shipped back is incomplete and broken. So I thought, well, I kind of predicted this because they have got this thing called the buyer's 14-day money-back guarantee, which as a buyer you think, well, this is fantastic. And what you don't actually realise is the person who pays for this 14-day money-back guarantee isn't eBay, it is 100% the seller. So I phoned eBay to find out what the situation was, because I couldn't actually find the appeal button anywhere with anything to do with the case. So I thought, well, something's up here. So I phoned eBay and explained my situation to them. So basically then eBay informed me that they had no intention of helping me out in this situation at all. As far as they were concerned, I'd received the phone back and therefore the buyer is entitled to a full refund by me. They weren't interested at all in the fact that the phone had been incorrectly packaged, and, or the fact that the buyer hadn't even shipped back all the items, which I found a little bit strange, because I thought, well, actually, afterwards, like now, I'm sort of thinking, well, if they haven't shipped back some of the items, then they haven't actually returned the item that I sold to them. So I'm not sure that's on. They told me that the condition of the item did not mean that I should get some kind of compensation, because they have no way of telling that the item is in working condition and unsmashed condition when the buyer received it. And when I said, well, what's to stop somebody receiving something, breaking it and then sending it back? Is the buyer always, is the seller always responsible for that? And they kind of don't really answer your question properly. They sort of tried to fob me off also with saying, oh, we'll refund your final value fee, which I thought, well, that's damn right, you should refund my final value fee, because they've broken the bloody phone. Also, they said, well, we won't put this on your record as like a black mark on your account. Yeah, well, I wouldn't expect that either. And they'll report the buyer, which is about, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything to me, but at least it helps remove this buyer from eBay if this is something that they consistently do. And I think after a bit of persuasion, they're also going to maybe refund the postage that I paid to have this item sent back to me broken. So the message here really is eBay does not look after its sellers, it looks after its buyers. This whole situation really took me by surprise. I knew eBay favoured buyers, but I really had no idea that, they would be so little help. I thought that if I moaned enough, which sometimes you can do with companies, they would at least, oh, well, we'll give you, how about a 20% discount, which I wouldn't have been happy with, but it would have been something. But there was absolutely no compensation or no meeting in the middle at all. It was all it was all, you know, oh, we won't hold this against you. Well, hold what against me? The fact that you're not going to hold against me the fact that the buyer didn't package the item properly. Afterwards, after this event, looking it up on forums and the eBay notice boards and stuff, I can see that a lot of people have sold far more expensive things and got them back with the insides missing or broken or obviously a different item, and eBay want nothing to do with it. And really, if you can sort something out, maybe offering a partial refund or something to somebody without having to raise a claim, that's probably the best way to deal with the situation. Also, if you're a seller, do not escalate a claim, because it will end badly. You will think they're on your side, that eBay will, you know, read the evidence and side with you, but they won't. The only situations I've heard of where eBay side with the seller are if a buyer tries to threaten you, or I think it's called like feedback extortion or something, where they threaten to leave negative feedback, or they ask you to do something dubious like buy off eBay or sell it to them off eBay, or ship it to an alternative address that isn't their eBay or PayPal address. In those instances, they will side with the seller. But if you've got similar experiences about buying or selling stuff on eBay, please let me know. I'll be interested to know if you've been in a similar situation, how you've resolved it, and if you've managed to get your money back as a seller. But also, this is a call to eBay as well. I hope somebody senior in eBay hears this message, because it is not a satisfactory situation to be left with an incomplete and broken item sent back by a buyer, and to be expected to foot the bill because the buyer has changed their mind or they're too stupid to operate a product. It needs to be sorted out. There needs to be a system in place to validate these claims by sellers or by buyers, not just a blanket policy of refunding the buyer. So thanks for watching. I've calmed down a bit now, so that's good. And yeah, please leave a comment below if you've had a similar experience, and if you know anyone that works at eBay, please share this with them, because this needs to be sorted out. This is just not a good situation. Bye.